Hello, everyone. I'm Jason Thomas, Executive Editor of SC Biz News, the media company serving about 100,000 business executives throughout South Carolina. Welcome to SC Biz TV and the latest episode in our ongoing video series, Coffee With. Today, I'm having coffee with Josh Fowler, president of Davis Floyd engineering firm, which has offices in the Lowcountry, Midlands, and the Upstate. For generations, Davis & Floyd's team has collaborated to engineer critical civil infrastructure to develop communities, strengthen transportation systems, and fortify the Southeast's water resources. Josh, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, Jason.
Hey, thanks for joining us. So, as Davis & Floyd's newest president, we'd like to know a little bit more about you and your background. I see here that you have extensive experience and knowledge in operations, business growth, and engineering. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so I've had a pretty diverse background in terms of my career. I guess I started out in construction, and so that really helped me from a understanding of how the design works, the design process works, and how my decisions as a designer affect the construction project. So that really helped me once I transitioned to engineering consultant, which I've been a part of for most of my career. I did take a brief detour about the middle part of my career and went out into the manufacturing space. Which was quite exciting at the time. It was a change, but I did learn a lot. As you mentioned, I had some time in sales, marketing, business operations, and strategic planning. Probably the biggest thing I took away from that was I was around some great people, and it really helped me to grow as a person and professionally. And so I've been able to transition those lessons learned throughout the other stops along the way.
Sure. I understand when you were younger, you cut your teeth collecting golf balls at a driving range, and that probably instilled a work ethic pretty early. I grew up near a golf course myself, so.
Yeah, so I've been working pretty much as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And so that job you're talking about there, that was in 6th grade, and I made $250 per night picking up golf balls at the local driving range.
Big money back then.
It was huge money. Of course, I spent half of it across the street at the convenience store afterwards, but that's a different story. So, yeah, I would ride my bike up there and pick up golf balls and ride my bike back home.
Now, did it develop a love of golf or a hate of golf, doing something that young?
I do love golf, despite that job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do love golf. Every chance I can get out there, I will.
Great. Now that you've been president for about a year or so, tell us what you're most looking forward to in 2024.
Yeah, so for 2024, I guess I'm most excited to see the continued growth and momentum from 2023. We've had a lot of good accomplishments this year, and so I want to build on that momentum. We've put some key people in place and some key processes in place, and so I think that's really going to make a difference as we propel ourselves through 2024.
Gotcha. Now, when you all were here last year, we ended our talk with new expansions coming to Davis & Floyd, including a new office, major acquisition. So catch us up with what's going on now.
Yeah, so as you can imagine, most of 2023 was spent on that acquisition and integration of that team. And so it's really gone well. We had to get the integration piece right in order to get ultimate success. And so we're still working on that, and it will be an ongoing process probably for the next 6 to 8 months as we continue that. But it's a great team that we brought in. They had a great reputation already. They do solid work, and so we're going to continue to build on that momentum as we continue to try to grow our presence in the Lowcountry.
Gotcha. Let's look a little more big picture here. So what do you hope to achieve at Davis & Floyd, and what are you looking at for the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, so it's really funny. In the next 5 years, we'll be celebrating our 75th anniversary as a company.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you, and that's really exciting. And so for me, and my vision is, okay, let's get the foundation set to deliver the next quarter century. So that when we head into that century celebration, which I don't think I'm going to be around for, but you never know.
You never know.
You never know. But I want to get the company set up to continue that legacy on to the century mark. And so that's what we're going to be focusing on the next 5 years, is getting all the pieces and parts in place so that when we hit the ground running towards that century mark, we're truly running and we're not limping along at the finish line.
That's great that you're looking ahead. That's a lot of work to plan, and it looks like you're well on your way.
We are very excited about it. And again, we're going to have fun in the process. Let's just keep that in mind.
That's right. I like that philosophy. Speaking of excitement, what is there a current or upcoming project that you're most excited about?
Yeah, so being a water and wastewater engineer by practice, I'm always leaning towards the water-related projects. And so we have a project in Charleston called the Spring Fishburne Drainage Project.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been going on for almost 2 decades, and we are about to enter the 5th and final phase of construction. And so I'm really excited to see how that's going to turn out. It's already made a huge impact for the city and the peninsula in particular. And so we think once it's completed, it's really going to go a long way towards helping control flooding down in that area.
It's a really interesting project. When I first moved to South Carolina about a year and a half ago, I live up here in the upstate, but we had an event down in Charleston. And I think the first night we were there, we were staying down at the Francis Marion there on King Street, and it just poured rain, just deluge, right? And I look out the window and I see all this water pulling up on the streets. I'm like, oh my gosh, this doesn't look normal. So I got a really quick introduction to what happens there in Charleston when it rains. So this project is really crucial to fixing that, right? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. So it involves a lot of underground tunnels,
Yeah.
a lot of piping, and a lot of really big pumps.
My goodness.
So to put it simply.
Kind of in the same vein, fixing that, Davis Floyd has a strong commitment to sustainability.
Yes.
So what specific initiatives are you and your team working on to further these initiatives?
Well, we have a couple of initiatives that we're working on, one internal and one external, and I can't really give away the external right now. It's still under wraps,
All right.
Unfortunately, but
Well, make sure you give us the scoop, right?
Absolutely. But yeah, we're really excited about it. And we've gotten more involved with Sustain SC, which is a very important and impactful organization. And in fact, we've got one team member who's been accepted into the Sustainability Leadership Institute through Sustain SC. So again, really exciting stuff going on from a sustainability standpoint. And again, all of our projects, we try to, look at every solution with a sustainability lens.
Sure.
And we think that really makes a difference, not just for the local communities, but for the, broader community as well.
Sure. You mentioned you dabbled in manufacturing a bit ago, and I know that industry is really making a lot of strides with sustainability. Is that something you're seeing in the engineering industry as well? Is this an industry-wide trend?
It absolutely is. And, my belief is that the companies and organizations that don't get on board the sustainability train, they're going to get left behind. Well, I mean, we have to evolve, right? And if climate change is happening, we've got to be willing to adapt and adjust.
As Davis Floyd continues to expand its footprint across the Southeast, what are the key factors you consider when deciding when and how to grow?
Yeah, so our growth plans are really going to continue to evolve around infrastructure. So that's roads and bridges, that's water, wastewater, stormwater, and the flooding we talked about earlier with Spring Fishburne. But really focus on those areas. And from a services standpoint, we want to provide services that are going to make a big impact. Just like we're talking about with the city of Charleston, that's making a huge impact. So we're going to continue to focus on those areas. Probably some new focus areas rolling into 2024 is we're doubling down on our industrial focus and manufacturing, along with our government development work as well. And again, just trying to make bigger impacts for our communities. And as far as like the people go, again, we talked about this earlier, it has to be a cultural fit. And so from a success standpoint, as far as growth goes, we've got to make sure that the cultural alignment is there, whether we bring in a new firm or whether we bring in a new key hire. The alignment has to be there.
You have to have the right team.
That's exactly right. Yep.
You focused a little bit a minute ago about Davis and Floyd and how they the focus is on the water infrastructure and the resources there. Is it a natural fit given where we are in South Carolina, especially with like Charleston and all the proximity to waterways?
Well, as you can imagine, the coastal areas are concerned, right?
Sure.
The storms continue to get worse and the flooding continues to be an issue. So we've got clients up and down the coast that we're helping to try to get right and prepare for that next big storm. And there's a lot of work out there, a lot of communities with a lot of needs, and so we're going to try to be there to help them.
Absolutely. All right. So personally, what excites you about the direction that Davis and Floyd is heading in, and how does it align with your own values and vision for the company?
Well, I've said this before, and I'll say it again to anybody that'll listen. Davis and Floyd is filled with the most talented, dedicated, and passionate group of folks I've ever worked with. And that really makes it easy for me to come to work every day. I come in the door, and I know I care about each and every person that's there. So it's the team and the foundation that's there that excites me to get up and come to work every day. And so we're just going to continue to grow that. We're going to continue to have fun, take care of one another, and make differences in our communities.
What do you look for when you're adding to your team? Is there anything specific that this person is a Davis and Floyd person?
Well, obviously they've got to have the same philosophical approach to making a difference for communities and taking care of each other. We've got to have that. We've got to have smart people. because we've got smart people. We don't need to bring in less smart people, right? We don't need to lower the IQ.
Right.
Raise the IQ. So those are the kind of things we look for. The cultural fit is so key. We've got team members that help each other outside of the office.
Yeah.
They're in clubs together. They help each other move. I've heard some very touching stories just over the past year that I've been here. And it's like, man, this is a great place. And I'm so happy to be here. So that's what we look for, is the Davis and Floyd DNA.
I love that. Great. So looking ahead, can you give us a hint about maybe the next big project or initiative happening at Davis and Floyd?
Yeah, so while we're not really focused on any large projects per se, what we're really focused on are the small steps to get to those large impacts. I've always had the philosophy where the small steps, if done the right way, are going to lead to huge results. And so that's really what we're focusing on in 2024 and beyond, is just getting the small pieces right. Talking a little bit about professional development for our team members, for example, just to help them be the best versions of themselves. And that's ultimately going to increase their career satisfaction and help them to grow personally and professionally, but it's also going to help the company grow. Yeah, so that's the key, is just really taking care of our people, making sure they have the tools, systems, and resources they need to succeed, and ultimately we'll all win and be better off for it.
Absolutely. Continuous learning has to be vital, I would think.
Absolutely. That's been one of the things I've preached and focused on over the years, because I've always said complacency is the organization killer. And so I'm trying to make sure that we don't get to that spot. And so I'm always looking for ways to do better by our team, by our clients, and by our communities. And so every day I say, how can we do better today than we did yesterday? And that's going to help us really make a mark and differentiate ourselves in the marketplace.
Absolutely. Great way to look at it. Has technology had a huge impact on the engineering industry? I know it's changed a lot of big sectors here in South Carolina. Are you seeing things like AI and digital transformation creep into engineering?
It's starting to creep in. Just like with AutoCAD when it came out, it basically changed the way we put together drawings. And so engineering has always been kind of at the forefront of utilizing new technologies to help increase efficiencies, provide for clients, et cetera. And with the AI, I don't know really where that's going. There's a lot of different...
Who does, right?
It's got a lot of different opinions, but I think the last poll I saw said something to the effect of engineering firms, maybe about 50% of them are using AI in some capacity. We are actually in the process of developing an AI policy for the company.
Oh, wow.
So we're trying to embrace it and get out ahead of it and figure out, how can we help it? How can we let the AI or the chat GPT or whatever's available that's coming down the pipe, how can we help us? Absolutely. So if we can become more effective for our clients and more efficient in what we're doing, I'm all for it.
That'll do it for this edition of Coffee With. For this edition and past editions, check out our YouTube channel at SC Biz TV.